Welcome to day 17 of our 30-day pelvic floor challenge. So today we are continuing our work with maximum strength Kegels, and we are going to be using the blanket. For again today we will be doing a kneeling up version of this exercise. So you can see I have the blanket double folded so that there's a lot of sponginess underneath the knees, and I'm going to allow the feet to be in line with the knees and they're just resting top side down, and my hips are stacked over my knees, my shoulders are stacked over my hips, and everything is nice and evenly balanced as it was in the first week. Now again, there's a little bit of movement in the body in this position, and that will turn on certain muscles and do certain activations. And holding your body in this kneeling position, you will also have a little bit of contractility in the lower abs. So your abs will be a little bit higher tone than they would be, say, if you were lying down. But what we're going to work on today is again taking our RPE4 contraction and then squeezing up to a 10, down to a 4, 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 and then all the way back down to relaxation. And we're going to do that a couple of times from this position. We will sit down in between. If you're working on relaxation, you can just skip straight through to that by going to the time code in the description down below. So let's start by taking our RPE4 contraction. So getting a gentle contraction on the pelvic floor. So that's up a little, and then you're going to squeeze as hard as you can and take it back to a 4. Squeeze as hard as you can, take it back to a 4. Squeeze as hard as you can, take it back to a 4. Keep breathing, squeeze as hard as you can, back to a 4. Squeeze as hard as you can, back to a 4, and then relax the pelvic floor. Okay, so that's one round. Now we're going to do 3 more rounds like this. So in between, you can sit down, you can give everything a little jiggle wiggle if you want to. Try to let everything relax and be soft here. So let the belly hang, let everything just kind of relax and release a little bit. We're going to go again, and each time we do this, I really want you to focus on that 10, the maximum strength contraction. You squeeze your pelvic floor as hard as you can, okay? So the best contraction that you can get there. But make sure that it's lifting up, don't bear down. So very important that you don't bear down. Okay, taking the knees underneath the hips, shoulders in line with hips, we're going to start. So we're going to contract up to a 4 and then squeeze to a 10, down to a 4, 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 squeeze to a 10, down to a 4. One last time, squeeze to a 10, down to a 4, and relax. Okay, so sit back down on your backside. Just take a little moment, let the belly hang, let everything be really soft. So just having a little rest in between. Now, if your pelvic floor is still a little weak, then when you're doing these strong contractions, you might feel it tire out before we get to the end. So with 4 sets, I would imagine that by the time we get to the 4th set, that your pelvic floor might be really feeling it. And that's really good, because you do want to feel that things are starting to get tired, because then you know that those maximum contractions have been using muscle fibers to that level where they start to get a little bit tired. Okay, so we're going to go again. Make sure that everything is nicely stacked. You're starting from a relaxed pelvic floor. So inhale and let it all relax. And then exhale, take your 4, hold your 4, and then squeeze to a 10, release to a 4. Squeeze to a 10, release to a 4. Squeeze to a 10, release to a 4. Keep breathing, keep squeezing and releasing. Keep it going. One more time, and relax all the way back down. Okay, come back down. So we only have 1 set of these left. Just pay very close attention to what you're feeling. If you feel like you've lost all control and you can no longer do these graded squeezes, then you can try doing it just kneeling down like this, or you can just skip past this and go straight to the relaxation. It will take time to build strength to be able to go hard and consistent. So practice is really what's needed. And as I said at the video in the beginning of the week, it's not always a 1 week or a 6 week or an 8 week process. It can take quite a long time to build your strength. Okay, Starting from a relaxed pelvic floor, we're going to first come to that RPE4, then we're squeeze to 10, release to 4, squeeze to 10, release to 4, squeeze to 10, release to 4, squeeze to 10, release to 4. Keep breathing. Don't do it with your eyebrows. Don't do it with anything. Get the pelvic floor to work and relax. Okay. So hopefully you're starting to feel rhythm, you're starting to feel that you're getting good strength in the pelvic floor. We're going to go now into our relaxation. And for the relaxation today, we're going for a closed-legged child's pose. And it is nice to do this on the blanket, seeing as you have it handy. Let's just smooth out the creases, because creases are not nice underneath the knees. So we're going to keep the legs together. If you don't have the flexibility to be able to sit on your feet, you can also put a little blanket wedged in underneath your legs. And for this one, we're actually going to put the hands behind the body and not in front of the body as we have done in the earlier videos. So you're going to just allow yourself to relax the top of the head down onto the floor, bring the hands behind the back and just let them relax. And then start to bring your awareness down into your pelvic floor. And notice how it feels after all that strong exercise. Notice where you find tension and start to relax and release. Letting go around the hips, feeling the stretch on the glutes, on the back side of your body, allowing your shoulders to be heavy. And notice if you're gripping with your fingers. Try to let the hands be very relaxed. Try to allow the weight of the body to surrender onto the legs. This gives a little bit of extra compression. Notice how it feels around the knees. Try to imagine length coming into the muscles in your legs. Feel as though the hips are opening out to the sides, as though there is space coming in the hip sockets. Imagine expansion through the whole back side of the body. So each time you inhale, I want you to imagine the increase in the tension on the front side and the release of the tension on the back side. So almost as though you're allowing compression on one side of your body and decompression on the other. Feel the expansiveness through the backside of the body as you relax here. Imagine that the legs are slowly releasing all of the tension through the blanket and into the earth beneath you. And then starting to take the first of 3 long, deep breaths, as though you could bring the energy through the spine, expanding each and every rib as you breathe in. And as you exhale, allowing the body to become heavier, more pliable. Inhaling deeply and exhaling completely. One last deep inhalation. And then bring some energy into your fingers. Gently bringing the hands forward, pressing into the hands. Coming back up. We're going to release the legs and then just give them a little shake. And that is it for today's little strength video. I hope that you enjoyed this practice and I do hope to see you again tomorrow.